Advanced Wars! I love the Advanced Wars series of games. That's why I'm doing a whole, series of videos on the game's franchise. I already started last week with the perfect Advanced Wars game. And when I was thinking of other videos to do, I'm like, well, I could go back and I could do the first Advanced Wars game. Or I could go back even further. You see, Advanced Wars didn't start out perfect. It started in Japan. Alright, so nobody tell Obama, because I'm actually not supposed to have this. But I have an SNES cart of Super Famicom Wars. And technically this is a bootleg, so do I have to put on the... You know, it's not a Pokemon game. I think I'll keep the hat just to be safe, but buckle up, kids, because it's time for a history lesson. Okay, so Super Famicom Wars is the fourth game in the series. I decided to look at it for two reasons. Number one, I don't actually own an NES, and number two is... Jeez the freaking Wheeze! No! No! Super Famicom Wars is the perfect blend of antique, but also playable. It was released in 1998 on the Nintendo Power Cartridge Writing System. Basically a Japanese exclusive service. They had these machines set up all around, and if you had one of these special blank Famicom carts, you could take it to one of the machines, insert it, pay a fraction of the game's price, and it would install the game for you. Cool novelty for the time, and it's the only way that you could get this game. Or in 2021, you can give some money to a shady Chinese man on eBay to dump the fan translation onto an SNES card. It's your call, honestly. So, there is no story mode, but now that I know about this game's distribution, it's acceptable. I was thinking, how did people play this game back in the day? But if you went to a Nintendo Power machine and saw an updated version of your favorite NES game, yeah, you'd throw a couple of shekels their way. And that's what this game is. See, it's updated this map. And it's also updated this map. Don't mess with perfection, I guess. So knowing that, I'm good now. I'm just gonna play some Advanced Wars with an SNES paint job. See, we got the classic maps and we got some new ones. Let's go ahead and try out the classics. Oh, would you look at that? Red star, like I was telling you. Alright, and we get to choose a CO. Alright, so what have we got here? Mr. Yamato, Billy Gates, Von Russo. Hitler? Hitler! What in the... Oh my gosh, they are not kidding around. Oh my gosh! Scoot over, Waluigi! I have a new favorite Nintendo character! Adelf freaking Hitler! I mean, let's look at the other COs. But I mean, nothing's gonna beat the Big H himself. Whoa, is that Nell? Called Lucky Girl. Strikes hard for no apparent reason. I think that's Nell. So you're telling me they brought back Nell, but not Hitler? Justice for Hitler. He didn't do anything wrong. I have got to be very careful with my pronunciation. Okay, so hopping into a game after having my life changed, I am home. And a million miles away all at once. For the next part of the video, I'm going to assume that you're familiar with Advanced Wars gameplay. Otherwise, you're going to feel very lost moving forward. Feel free to click off. You already saw the greatest thing that this game has to offer. Just subscribe so you can come back next week, or go watch some of my other content. Alright, so this game has a lot going on. Very, prototypical. HP is not displayed on each unit, and we have long animations for pretty much everything. Capturing buildings, receiving supplies, even loading into an APC. Whoa, hang on there, buddy! Also, supplies and APCs are different vehicles, and the APC actually has a machine gun. It's not necessarily the vehicle that you'd want to start a fight, but you can certainly use it for cleanup. The problem child is Supply Car. You see, in this game, vehicles with wheels rather than treads can't enter forests. So, this anti-air tank went into the forest and then it ran out of fuel. Supply truck? You gotta go... No? Oh, okay. Well, sorry, anti-air tank. I guess that's where you live now. Another jarring thing is building units. Only the bases you start with and your HQ can actually build units. These airports? Just for refueling. It's like chess, you need to plan several turns in advance. You need to build units that you think you're gonna need in like half an hour. Cheers, love the cavalry! Oh, well, apparently you have it all under control then. Superb. In addition to supply/APC, we have new units too. Light tanks, medium tanks, and heavy tanks, along with some maps having the proto tanks. If you capture a lab, you lose the troop that captured that base, but you gain the proto tank. Moves as fast as the light tank, but punches with the power of a heavy tank. Oh, okay, apparently not. Retreat, get that thing out of there. We can't actually build anymore. Also, they have the flat guns, basically the artillery equivalent of missiles. Great for tearing up the skies. And speaking of skies, almost completely identical. It doesn't have the gimmicky black bomb, but for the most part, all the units are familiar. Except for the striker. It's kind of like the stealth bomber in the way that it can attack everything. But it just doesn't have any big advantages on any units. I like building up scores of these guys because there's not many units that can actually counterattack it. Now we head over to the sea, and this may be one of the biggest changes. Now, the units are all the same. You know, subs, cruisers, transport ships. However, the cruisers can only target helicopters, not fighters or strikers. And this absolute unit! It's about 10,000 more than it is in subsequent games, but it makes up for it in one little aspect. It can target air units. I can kill planes? Okay! The final thing worth mentioning is the combat, and that being that whenever you fight, everyone alive shoots. In the new game, only the survivors counterattack, and this makes battles take far longer, because even if you attack with the correct unit for the job, the counterattack is gonna leave you crippled, and basically you either have to die or retreat to a nearby city for an oil change. Aside from that, trains? Ford? Mech units have to use their entire turn to cross one mountain square? I think that's mostly it. And it certainly contributed to us getting an amazing game when the West finally was allowed to simulate war. My experience was a pretty good one. Maps usually took 1 to 2 hours to complete, and the 4-player map took somewhere between 4 and 7 hours. Actually, I learned that troop limit maxed out at 60. Alright, no more room for mechs. I guess I'll just deploy heavy tanks for the next 2 hours. However, with no story mode, all you can really do with this game is play the maps, and don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed my time with this because it made me appreciate all the work that went into making Advanced Wars just such a perfect game. However, they dropped Hitler, so this is obviously the superior version.